Welcome back everyone to the next weekly roundup where I talk about everything gaming wise from the last week. Whether it be the games that I've played, crowdfunding campaigns that caught my attention, any gaming news that I've come across. So there's a lot to cover and talk about. Feel free to jump to the sections you find the most interesting. Without further ado, let's get into it. First of all, the games that I played over the last week. The first game that I managed to get to the table was Batman Gotham City Chronicles. Now this is specifically the solo mode of this game. I have tabled this title before, however we've never played any of the campaign scenarios except the first one. Why? Because everything's painted for it, so it looks great on the table. Now this game got slated a lot because of the difficulty of the rulebook, how complex this game is. This is not a light game in any way. However, I did enjoy it enough that I kept it, continued painting the miniatures through it with every intention to play more with the family in the future once I've fully mastered it. And I feel as though after this latest solo session that I have mastered this game. I feel I understand it quite well because a lot of it I didn't really need to reread the rulebook. It is overly complicated what it tells you in the rulebook, but once you understand it, once you get to grips with it, it's quite simple. And yes, specifically, I was trying out the solo mode. I picked this up and ordered this from Monolith Games themselves. They shipped it out to me. I've had it for about a month, but I've been eager to try this because this is a means for me to be able to play this game more. I can safely say that I thoroughly enjoyed it. Essentially, what the solo mode offers is a deck of cards where it determines and tells you what the AI essentially does. In Batman, you have a board for all of the enemy activations. Normally someone plays as the bad guys and chooses which one to activate. And they have this line, this river as it's called, where the tiles will move and these tiles represent all the different baddies on the board. What the cards do is they tell you that the baddies in space 4 are activated, the baddies in space 1 are activated, or maybe the evil villain himself is activated. So it's really easy to actually play, control, and utilize. I was very impressed with this AI. It started off a bit tricky, but once I got to grips with it after a few turns, I'm very impressed. I'm actually looking to play the second scenario now in the book. This is definitely going to do exactly what I wanted, which is to give me the means with which to play the game more. And yeah, I played as Batman, Catwoman, and Nightwing, I believe it's called. And it was really, really tough, really close, especially for that last turn, because at the very last turn, Bane and his henchmen were in a position to activate the last bomb after I'd run out of activations, but fortunately they failed in their tests. The next game that I managed to play is Motor City, and Motor City is a roll and write game. Because I'm in engineering, there's a lot of that engineering side within this box. You're looking at your sales, you're looking at your manufacturing department, you're looking at your research and development, your engineering, and you've got all of these different spots on these sheets. And you've got to essentially allocate your dice to these different departments, and you're essentially, in black in most roll and writes, you're ticking off in order to get the most victory points. In this case, there's multiple ways to do it, but one of the best ways is getting your speedometer as high as possible so that it gives you points every single turn. It's been quite a while since I got it to the table and played it, and you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. The next one that I played was Peacemakers, and I've played the third scenario now, I believe it is, and essentially you are trying to mediate a peace between two warring factions. Now this is a very kiddie-ish look with this game, however there's a lot of puzzliness to it. You've got to make sure that you position yourself in the right place, you give defensive bonuses to the right units, or you weaken the attackers if you want them to fall. This game you want to minimize the casualties as much as possible. You want to bring the morale of the sides, both warring factions, to these green zones, but not dip them so low that they rout and run away. You want to essentially force both sides to the table to declare a peace. It's quite unique. It's a game that I like for that. You are the mediators. You're trying to end a conflict. Normally there's a lot of games covering wars, conflicts, fighting for territories, but it's nice to have one that has the opposite side where you are trying to bring about peace. In this game, I essentially focused on strengthening the bear faction because they were quite weak and the attackers were quite numerous compared to them, and it was quite a good run for me. It was less challenging than Motor City was. I did enjoy it, but I'm hoping the next time I play either this scenario or the next scenario that it's a bit more challenging because I just felt very lucky. Everything came out the way I wanted, and it was quite easy to bring about peace. Right then, onto the channel update. Things are plodding along at a steady pace. I did manage to release one video last week, which was about understanding your gaming group, which I thought was although it's not a topic people are demanding, I just thought it was an interesting one to talk about because it is something that has affected me as I've grown older and got more mature. I understand my group more. I understand not to force people to play games they don't like. When to, even while you're playing a game, if the group does not enjoy particular aspects of the game and you can skip it, then skip it. If you make it easier, make it easier. You know, these kind of things, they're very relevant. And understanding the group as a whole, what games they like to play, I think is quite important. Apart from that, I just managed to get that one video out. I have recorded another big video for this weekend. I'm looking forward to posting that one. I will investigate a new microphone as planned. With the last week's weekly catch-up, I did a bit of an experiment where I didn't notify the subscribers about my new posting, and obviously it didn't get as much traction as previous videos. So I'm probably going to keep people notified going forward until the point where I feel that the audience is just watching them of their own accord. Right then, guys, painting and other gaming activities. This is going to be a longer segment than normal because there's been a lot I've done over the last week. I haven't done as many games as I had the ambition to play, but I have done a lot of other gaming stuff. So, first of all, assembling miniatures. I am well behind in terms of the amount of plastic that I have to work through. I have Blood and Plunder I need to assemble. I have Dungeons and Lasers terrain and miniatures that I need to assemble from a couple of campaigns. I have Star Wars Legion that I need to assemble. There is a whole plethora of stuff I have fallen behind on and I need to work through. And Combat Patrol is an ongoing magazine that I am subscribed to, and I have also fallen behind on that. So I got cracking. I have chopped off all of the bits for some Khorne Berserkers and a couple of other units. I believe it's a big orc mech. So I'm starting work on the assembly stuff. I need to get cracking on with that. I really want to clear that all together. I don't want a backlog. I want that all gone. Following on from that, painting wise, I've managed to do quite a bit. I have been focusing on the Bretonnians now because the Tomb King army is pretty much done. I know there's a single figure that I need to find wherever that is. So the Bretonnians, I want to bring them up to the same standard and then we can get some games played of it. And I'm working on the infantry at the moment because I've done some knights and some archers already. I just need to get them some foot infantry. So I'm working my way through them and I'm trying to match them up to the different lords within my army. In the current edition of Warhammer The Old World, you're supposed to choose a duchy or a faction, and all your army is going to be of the same colour. I'm going with the older Warhammer, where the Bretonnian army is an amalgamation of different families and houses and factions, and all these groups are mixed together to work together for Bretonnia. And that's what I'm going for here. I've got a bit of a theme going with different houses, etc. And I'm enjoying painting them, but it's taking even longer than normal because I am alternating schemes. They're not all being done in the same colour scheme. But it's coming along slowly. I'm hoping to get it to the table this weekend for a game with the family, depending on how much painting I get done. Marowitz from Super Fantasy Brawl. I essentially added the black coat around the base. I need to colour the grass in green on the base itself, but apart from that, I was looking at the model and I just thought I don't really need to do much. It looks okay as it is. So I've pretty much called that complete for the most part. The games room at this moment in time is a bit of a mess. There's stuff all over the place. I have stuff piled up. It goes through phases where it's nice and tidy and organised and neat and accessible. And then over time, it gradually gets worse and worse and worse. So I have been organising the shelves, organising the room over the weekend to do as much as possible. And yesterday, I spent a lot of time sorting out all of the cards in the corner, cleaning the shelves, wiping them down, reorganising them so that I could fit more on them because there was numerous other card games on the floor that I'd purchased recently. It was a bit of a nightmare going through that, organising it. Having the end result, it looks so much better. I also got all of the cards that are in binders back on the shelf because they were just in a stack on the floor. And what I've done is I've moved the rule books for all of the different miniature games and war games up onto another shelf where they're accessible so that I can get these games to the table more. Because at the moment, because they were hidden behind stuff, it always felt like an effort to actually get them out to get the game to the table. So now there's more encouragement to do so. After finishing organising for the evening, I actually got all of the Spider-Man MTG cards and brought them downstairs. I organised them. I went through the card list online and pulled a card aside for every different one, including any foils, to put away. And the rest I'm going to use to build some Spider-Man decks. And hopefully we can have a game of this soon and try out this MTG Spider-Man to see how it works. So as you can see from the photo, there's still quite a few cards left over after organising, and I have another booster box that I've ordered. So I'm looking forward to getting some decks built, probably today and tomorrow, and then hopefully testing them out soon, trying out this version of Magic. I've also been sleeving cards from numerous games, including things like Thunderbirds and various other titles. I've been working my way through the collection, sleeving normal sized cards, so that's been taking quite a bit of time too. Normally been doing this while I've been watching something. So it's been a busy week, there's been a lot. And I know that I've probably forgotten the odd thing here and there, but organising the games room is a big task, a big endeavour. So I'm hoping to get that done by the end of this week. But I essentially want the room clear. The table is absolutely covered in miniatures and I need to get them away. I need to fit those extra shelves in the display cabinets. I need to put the painted ones in there out of the way. I need to pack stuff away that's just out. There's a lot to do. Right then guys, on to crowdfunding, and there's many games that have caught my attention over this last week, or just ones I'm looking forward to seeing in the future. So let's go through them all. So first of all, Restart. This one is ending tomorrow, and it has an absolutely gorgeous presentation. Now, I've got no plans on backing this game, but I must shout it out for the presentation and the look of the game and the card art. Everything about it is very, very nice. They've done a great job. And it's essentially a time-traveling deck-building game. Really interesting premise. The next one is the Legacy of Mars Terraforming Mars campaign. It's live now, and it's an absolute success already, as expected. And there's no qualms about that. This game is going to be a success. Now, we have numerous campaign games that we have in our collection, my family's group, and we are playing a few at the moment, so we have no need for this right now. However, one of the family will probably pick this up and put it away for the future. And as they showed in the campaign, you've got Mars is one of the boards, you've got Ganymede is another, and then there are two others that are classified that are hidden until obviously you get the game, which is really cool. Really, really cool. Obviously, they're doing some more miniatures and little cityscapes and stuff that look really cool. Obviously, they're not necessary for the game, but as a glammed up version, they do make it look great. The next one is Dark Kingdoms, and obviously it's Vikings, strategy and conquest and area control. It speaks to me. It looks nice. I'll be watching this campaign and making a decision later on. Hoxval and Vampire the Masquerade Abyssal Echoes. These are both games that have gone up for the Tebaru system. I remember the Tebaru system making waves when it came out. I didn't really follow it too much. Obviously, it's some tech that helps you play games by micromanaging and doing all the other hard stuff behind the scenes. So you're getting more attention into the game itself. And it sounds great, but I don't know enough about it. They are coming out with some nice looking games for this Tebaru system. So I'm obviously not going to back these, but Hoxval looked really nice. I love the artistic style of that one. And the theme, you're obviously fighting off waves of monsters. Really cool. Sudden Conflict, a strategic and aggressive tabletop skirmish board game. Now, this one was interesting to me. I'm not going to be backing it, but I did have a good look at the campaign. I would definitely watch to see how this is received when it goes to backers, to determine if it's one that I would like to get in the future. The 30s, a single-player descent into a Lovecraftian nightmare. Now, I just love the idea of this. Whether this is going to be any good is a different matter. The artwork alone caught my attention. Again, it's probably one I would rather let other people experiment with, let them make the decision if they want to back it, and then I'll read their reviews in the future. Jurassic Crisis. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Ark video game. Played it a lot. Jurassic Crisis, I've known about this for a while. I've been following this for a while. But this looks to be someone creating something along the same lines, same kind of premise essentially, where you are dropped into this world with dinosaurs and you are not only having to contend with them for survival, but you're also having to contend with the other things, like making sure you've got food and supplies, etc., etc. I'm watching this one with a bit of enthusiasm, and I'm hoping it's going to be very, very good. Obviously, the ability to play it solo as well will be a huge positive for me and encourage me to potentially get it. But it's just on my radar. I'm just watching it for now. The Nemesis game is getting a role-playing game. Yes, this is going to do well. There's no question there. It's going to be a good role-playing book for people to get, and it's going to obviously have absolutely gorgeous art like we've seen in the board games. Tales from London. It's got a lovely cover, in my opinion. I really like it, really striking, really horrific and dark and Lovecraftian. And you're essentially trying to stop the demons, etc., and monsters from taking over the world through these portals or whatever in London. Really cool premise. I look forward to reading more of that when that actually goes live. Towers of Yoma, amazing tower defense game. Now, I don't really love tower defense games, but I do love the artistic flair they've gone with here. It really looks nice. This weird and wacky world is something different. When it comes to creating settings and worlds, it's always great to see something original. And Towers of Yoma has an original look to it that I like. I really like. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. It does have some shots of the board game itself on the campaign. And you see the towers that you'll be placing look like nice pieces. So I'm hopeful for that one. Seven Wonders is getting a deluxe version. There's not much on the campaign page right now. I'll be interested to see what it looks like, but I've got no interest in supporting this campaign, not because I don't like the game. I love the game. It's amazing. It's a brilliant game. But I don't feel like it's one that I need to upgrade. But I'm sure many people out there will feel completely differently. Next one is that I have a bit of a gripe with. I like the look of this Conservus, and the cover obviously pulled me in with a great white on there. Immediately got my attention. I had a look at it. Obviously this campaign is more about the other game called Pastel, but when I actually look at what it's talking about, this Exotic Tides Conservus, which is an expansion to a game called Conservus, when I look at what it's telling me about it, there's essentially two large pictures with not a lot of information. It's not going to be enough to sell me on that. Many campaigns do this as well. You need to show me what you're getting in the game. What are you getting? Tell me more about it. What does it do? Yeah, we need more information, more context. And this isn't a gripe at this campaign specifically. This is just a general thing as well. Because I've seen other campaigns as well what do the usual thing, which I've heard other YouTubers mention, which is where they give you loads of pictures and loads of random information and then pledge here. And then right at the bottom of the campaign is where they tell you what the game is about. Well, you've already lost my attention by the point I've scrolled to there. So it's not very good. And this happened this week while I was flicking through and looking at a couple of campaigns. How to play the game or what the game is about is down at the bottom of the campaign. That's an immediate no for me because I'm here to play a game, not look at nice pictures. But that was just a little bit of a gripe. However, there's a lot of stuff that has my attention. A lot of great looking games. So we'll see what happens for the future. Right then, guys, any other agenda? So there's a few things I've got to talk about here. So upcoming games first, and games that are already at the shop. So Dceased, obviously, I'm still waiting on that Kickstarter. But for those of you that aren't too bothered about the miniatures, they've done the usual like they did with the Marvel zombies. They have the Dceased condensed version with cardboard zombie tokens, and it's at retail right now. It's on Amazon. I saw it the other day by complete accident. So for those of you that didn't back the campaign and you might be interested, it's a good time to get it. The Unmatched Turtles is definitely on my radar. It's something that I want to get. And I've seen recently a Shredder and a Krang set, which just looks awesome. I hope this goes to retail. I don't know if it will, but it just looks awesome. Looney Tunes is something that I fondly remember from my childhood. And there is a silly small Hunting Wabbits card game coming out later this year. And I read the description on Board Game Geek, and it's very simple, but even simple games can end up being a complete and utter laugh. So I'll keep an eye on this one. Maybe this could be one I could get. Star Trek Space Hunt. Now, most people know about Captain Sonar, and this is a more condensed version of that kind of a game. You have a Captain Sonar Star Trek kind of vibe with this game from what I've heard, and it looks really good. It looks promising, where you have a team of two versus a team of two and you're working together against the opposite team. It's a really cool premise and a good use of the Star Trek license. So I'm quite excited for this. Archon Studios is a company that I really, really like. They've gone up in my books and estimations hugely over the years since I joined them early on with their Dungeons and Lasers stuff, and I've followed them since. And I'm a big fan of them. I enjoy listening to their live streams that they do where they talk about the company and they talk about the products and their engineering side. And recently they did a video showing you a bit of the workshop and their storage and all that kind of stuff. I'm really interested in. I am following the company quite regularly. I listen to their live streams and I'm essentially painting and assembling miniatures and busy doing stuff. It's great to listen to it. So I'm a huge fan of their company. They have another set coming out for the World of Tanks, the card game. But the thing that I'm most excited for from Archon is the Starside game. I may have mentioned it before, but I'm still keeping an eye on this one because this one has my interest as a big sci-fi fan and a huge fan of things like X-Wing and Star Trek Attack Wing. This is probably going to be the next title in that vein. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this game as it comes available. But Archon as a company is producing a lot of big titles now. They've got Quake upcoming and they have the Heroes of Might and Magic, which is going strong, and they're going to do another campaign. They, as a company, have grown exponentially as I've been following them. So I'm always interested in stuff they produce. I just thought it was worth giving them a shout out because I'm a big fan of them. They've definitely gone up. They might be my number one games company right now. Next is me talking about games where you don't play them and you want to get rid of them. I have one that I already am getting rid of and we aren't going to play. And the reason is it relies on good eyesight. And somebody in our group does not have good eyesight and they can't tell colours apart very well now. So obviously these are issues you might encounter. But there is a game that I got to the table to learn over the weekend and it's been in my collection for a while. I got it cheap in a sale, but I was looking forward to trying it. And then I looked at the rule book and it's turned me off. And I've watched some videos on YouTube explaining it and I've just lost all my enthusiasm to play this game. Now, the company is Mind Clash Games, and they are very successful. They have a huge following. I have played Tricarion and Anachrony at a games group years ago, so I'm familiar with those titles. They are great games, very interesting. Anachrony is more of my favourite of the two. But the game that I'm talking about right now is called Cerebria: The Inside World. And as I said, I got this cheap in a sale and it's been on my shelf for years. So it was about time to get it out and learn it and play it. But as I opened the rulebook at the weekend, I was immediately put off. I pushed past that and continued to follow the setup. But when I started to flick through the rulebook, it was just putting me off playing it altogether. There is just too much going on in this game. And I have played some difficult games with large rule books, but I think this is the first instance where it's actually made me just go, I really don't fancy playing it. I want to try the games. I want to play them. So I sat down and watched some YouTube videos. I saw the Dice Tower video where Tom Vassell reviewed it, and he spoke about a lot of stuff that will probably not mean it's ideal for my group as well. One of the biggest issues I see here is the iconography. There is a lot, and I've seen other games with lots of iconography. Batman Gotham City is another example, but there is a lot in this game. So much so that I think about, if I table it with the group, we're going to have to stop every 20 seconds to explain what this icon means or what that icon means. It's going to destroy any enjoyment we get out of this game. And it is along the lines of things we would like area control, placing the cards in the right place, fighting for different territories because you're fighting for the different areas of the board. You're working as teams as well, which I didn't expect. You have one side versus the other and you're working together cooperatively against the opposition. Now, they do say that this is best as a two-player game, and I didn't buy this to play two-player. So that's another negative. But just looking at the icons, looking at the heavy rulebook, and then I watched the video that was made by, or on behalf of Mind Clash, where he walked you through it. I was engaged up until the point where he started going through all of the actions and reeling them all off. I just lost all enthusiasm to play this game. And it's really sad. It's really sad. I'm going to have to run this one by my family and see if they feel the same before I decide to get rid of it. But at the moment, I've moved this straight to the sell pile. I feel like this game is going to be too much work for my group. whereas we could play 3 or 4 games in the amount of time it would take just to learn this. And I think this is one of those mind clash games. It's one of those games where it's going to reward you for playing it over and over and over again. And you need to know what all of these different things are, all of these different cards, all of these different mechanisms, all of these different icons. This was a way heavier game than I had expected. But fortunately, as I said, this was something I bought in a sale amongst other things. So I wasn't set on this. This wasn't something I pledged on crowdfunding. So I'm not going to be losing a lot of money on this. But I think I just need to sell this game and move on. I don't think this is going to be a good game for my group work. So those are my opinions. Obviously, if you like Cerebria, let me know why you like it, what your opinions are on this game down below. Be interesting to hear that. And yeah, I'm not saying this is a bad game. It's probably a brilliant game, but the barrier to entry for this title for me and my group is going to be too high to be worth the effort, in my opinion. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed everything I've talked about. Please leave your comments down below. Tell me anything. Give me any feedback. Anything you liked. Anything you're looking forward to. Any campaigns that I mentioned you liked. Anything you're supporting or looking forward to pre-ordering. Did you enjoy looking at the painting that I've managed to do? Let us know your thoughts down below. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.